This is Snoop Dogg, and you're about to see the best sports and entertainment talk show on the internet with your host, Troy Geary. The man who seems to go to every sporting event, and Dave Stevens born without legs, but won 7 Emmys and played college football and minor league baseball. Throw in Will Stein wherever Will Stein is, and you've got a heck of a show. It's the Geary, Stein, and Stevens Show. Faux shizzle.
Yes, everyone, there has been a moose sighting. That's right. There has been a moose sighting right here on Radio Row. We have got one of the greatest fullbacks, I think, in the history of the NFL, but, that's just me being biased here. But we have Darryl Moose Johnston, former Dallas Cowboy, 3-time Super Bowl champion. You don't hear that about the Cowboys much anymore, but we won't talk about that. Joining us from Radio Row, and now an executive in the UFL. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, that's been fun. Kind of a different side of football. It's been very educational for me. I don't think I respected enough the people that work behind the scenes that do all the logistical things. We would have an away game and we would drive out to the airport and get on a charter flight and go to a hotel and play a football game and fly home. And the amount of planning that goes into that, just for one team, and now multiply that times 8 for the entire league. It's very challenging, and it's been very educational for me to kind of go through the whole process on the managerial side. So got great people around me, learning a ton about that component of the game. I do miss some of the daily grind of the real football work, but the opportunity to really kind of put my spin on a league and then create consensus that this is the path we should walk has been a lot of fun.
Hey, Donald Trump started the USFL, so
I'm not thinking about running for president.
All right, Darryl, talking about 3 Super Bowls, what kind of similarities do you see from your Cowboys team in the 90s to this Chiefs team currently?
The biggest one for me is the quarterback position. 2 ultra competitive guys that played that position. I think Troy Aikman is, as a first ballot Hall of Famer and a 3-time Super Bowl champion, is still underappreciated in the NFL world. I mean, he was awesome. The great thing about him is when you have Emmitt Smith and a guy who's openly declared, when I retire, I want to have the NFL's all-time rushing record. And the only way you're going to do that is you're not going to be able to throw the ball a whole lot. Troy was that consummate professional that just wanted to win the game. Didn't matter how we got there, as long as we won the game. So, he had no ego. He was a great leader. So I think you see a lot of those same elements in Patrick. Patrick probably a little bit more loose and a little bit more fun than Troy was, but everybody has that unique style. But I think that drive to win games and just to see the emotion from Troy, at the end of some of the games, and then you see the emotion from Patrick in some of the same games, and they're very similar to me. So I think that's the biggest thing, because I think it all starts with that leadership in the quarterback position. And then I think really now a couple of underappreciated defenses. In '92, when we won our first Super Bowl, we were the number 6 rated offense in the NFL, but our defense was number 1. But because we had all the high profile guys and the big personalities, a lot of the attention came to the offensive side of the ball. And I think the same thing is true for Kansas City. They've been just such a dominant offense all the time that nobody's really appreciated how good their defense has been the last 2 years. And a lot of that probably has to do with the play of Patrick Mahomes. And you just automatically kind of gravitate toward that being the reason. But it's really, Steve Spagnuolo and his group on that other side that's really kind of helped this team get to back-to-back Super Bowl opportunities the last 2 years.
Darryl, how much have you learned more of the game by being in the broadcast booth?
I think the biggest thing is when you start the season, there's 32 teams with a common goal. Everybody wants to win the Super Bowl. And then everybody kind of goes about that a little bit differently. And it's kind of fun to see the different subtleties from team to team and organization to organization, but they're all trying to get to the same place at the end of the season. I think the big thing is really just getting an idea and watching how important, the communication is, with the guys today. It's a little bit different. It seems like a shared venture and a shared vision and journey. Even for a guy like Andy Reid, who's kind of old school in a lot of different ways and has been around the NFL for a number of years, and to watch him kind of reinvent himself with this group in Kansas City, and just how much fun they all seem to have playing the game of football. And I think that's something that you can't underestimate is it's hard. I mean, a football season is hard. It's long. It's physical. It's mentally exhausting. It's physically exhausting. And if you're not having fun out there, it can become a grind and drag. And so you got to be able to find ways to have a little bit of fun and relieve some of that pressure and tension. And Andy's just been really, really good at being able to do that. So, whether it's, kind of getting a perspective from a head coach or listening to the quarterbacks and the coordinators talk and what their priorities are, it's always amazing to me that we're all trying to get to that same destination in February, and we're all kind of coming about it from different angles and just, how they play to the strength of the roster, and maybe different styles. And really a classic example is Philadelphia, one of our teams that's in the Super Bowl here on Sunday. Start out 2-2, you're leading on the pass game a little bit. It's not being productive, and you make a shift coming out of your bye, and that allows Saquon Barkley to go for 2,000 yards rushing. So I think that's the other thing, just how they're smart enough to make those adjustments and make those moves when they know something's not working.
And Troy and I watched a lot of NFL, and I watched when you guys go from the playing field to the broadcast booth. How tough is that transition to go from being one of them to actually even having to criticize or pointing out faults or saying certain things, not negatively, but just bringing out the facts?
Yeah, you always want to maintain your integrity. So the viewer today is very educated about the game of football. You can't BS them. They know what they're seeing on television. So you've got to be able to, in those moments when it's appropriate, and to your point, not be critical, but just point out things and doing it in a way that's not confrontational or not critical, but also allows you to give your insight to the viewer of how you would have done things differently. So I think there's always a way to say things, but the most important thing is you've got to maintain that integrity. You can't tell somebody something different than what they're watching on television, and you never want to feel like if somebody's watching your broadcast that they can't trust your insight and your knowledge as to what is happening during the course of the game.
For our viewers out there that don't know, how did you get your nickname Moose?
I got it from one of our backup quarterbacks in Dallas. When we would start practice, we would do stretch, and then we would go down to different spots on the field for individual. And for the running backs, we were all the way down in the far right corner. So when we came back together as a group, with offense being the quarterbacks, wide receivers, tight ends, and running backs, we were always the last group to kind of get there because our coach was always going long during individual period. So Mabel Offenberg said, as our group ran up to join the rest of the people to start the group session, he said, you look like a moose walking in a field of deer when you come up, because even my backup fullback was 5'10", 240 pounds. I was 6'2", 245. So I was by far the tallest by probably about 4 inches. So something as innocent as that has stuck like glue for my career.
That is tremendous. So what has happened to the fullback position? It seems like, is it because they want more passing, so they're just moving guys around? We don't have the Rocky Blyers or the Moose Johnsons anymore, it seems like. It's such a dying position.
Yeah, the game has changed a lot, but it's kind of coming back a little bit. You wonder what's going to happen over the next couple of seasons, with Saquon having the year he had and Derrick Henry and Josh Jacobs. I think that there's a chance that maybe we see a little bit more going that way. Having a guy like Jim Harbaugh come in, and one of the things that he did is kind of lean on that run game in the fullback position. So it really happened. I really think the first crack in the mortar was the greatest show on turf. And it's kind of weird too, because they did have a good fullback in St. Louis, and they could go in with 2 tight ends and bring in James Hodges as the fullback and really kind of get downhill on you. And Marshall Faulk had a lot of 200-yard games running behind that group. So that was the uniqueness of that Rams team, is the ability to get physical in the run game when they wanted to, but then also to expand and bring in 4 wide receivers and stress you defensively in trying to find that matchup. So when you're bringing on multiple wide receivers or you're bringing in multiple tight ends, you have to take somebody off the field. And for the Rams at that point, even though it was James Hodges and he was very productive, sometimes he was the odd man out. And then every team started to look, how far down do we have to push until we get to that matchup that we really like? Is it our 3rd wide receiver on their nickel? Is the 4th on the dime? Do we like a 2 tight end, 2 wide receiver package, then a 2 tight end, 1 running back, or 2 running back, 1 wide receiver package? So as personnel shifted and moved and the game changed to more of a perimeter-based attack, the fullback was the position that paid the price.
Your former coach Jimmy Johnston was disinducted into the Cowboys Ring of Honor. How much did that mean to you to see that finally happen? And can you give us a quick story about Coach Johnston, something memorable that sticks out in your head?
Yeah, that was long overdue. It's just really happy for Jimmy. What he was able to build in Dallas and to be able to be a part of that. It was funny. Talking to somebody earlier today, I think there's 12 or 15 of us that were part of all three, and the bond that we have there. And it's still the one thing that I wonder. For Jimmy, as driven as he is, how do you walk away from an opportunity at making history? So, I tell people all the time, they're like, why can't Jerry and Jimmy get along? I say, listen, if you're willing to walk away from history, there's definitely some things behind the scenes that we weren't aware of that are just, in their opinion, things that can't be resolved. So, he was awesome to be with. I'm really happy that he's in the Ring of Honor now. There's a number of really, really good Jimmy stories. Probably my favorite is the Super Bowl in Atlanta against Buffalo the second time. Buffalo they were doing some really good stuff defensively that was impacting our running game. And as we went in at halftime, Jimmy was standing outside of the locker room, and he eased everybody's concern, right? I mean, we were really frustrated. We only scored 6 points in the first half. And Jimmy said, hey, everybody relax. He goes, get in here, take care of your business, get ready to go. We got an extended halftime. We know what they're doing. We've got something that we think is going to force them to get out of that. And then when we do that, we'll get back to our game plan. But we've got a play that we ran about 5 weeks ago we think is going to get them out of this defense that they're running. So we go in, we get everybody seated down, we go through everything, go through the different looks, make sure everybody understands the blocking schemes, and then we go out on the field in the second half. And if you remember that game, that opening series for our offense was kind of Emmett right, Emmett left, Emmett right, Emmett left, and it looked like the exact same play, and it was. And it was the play that they had dug up, but Buffalo never got out. They never changed their defense, and so we just continued to run this play. And that's why, Emmett was the MVP of the game. It was 24-0 in the second half, but it was the way that Jimmy did it. I think he sensed the frustration that we had offensively, and he was waiting outside of the locker room door to just ease everybody's concern and give us the why. We're always looking for the why, and he was going to be able to provide the why for us, and then here's what we're going to do next.
Darryl, we talked to Brett Favre earlier this week who discussed his Parkinson's, which he believes is an onset of the hits that he took. Do you worry about your body because we see your brothers in the league that have either taken their lives tragically, and so what do you think about your state of your mind right now and what to look forward to in the future? Yeah,
I've been aware of it. Everybody talks about it and how violent this game was, and back when we played, the helmets weren't as good as they are today. I think there's a lot of things that you can be proactive with that. So I try to do the best I can in that arena. I think there's some really interesting things that are coming out every day about brain health. So I think that as long as you stay on top of it, and I worked with a group years ago, and they kind of said, this is something that, because of what you did, and they work with a lot of military, they work with a lot of athletes, especially football players, and, they literally told us this is going to be like a colonoscopy. This is something you're going to have to keep an eye on every 3 to 5 years, make sure you're getting tested. If we see a decline, then we can be proactive with that and start to work on it. So there's a number of things you can do that really kind of help in situations like that. But yeah, I read up on the literature. I try to do things from an exercise standpoint, from a nutrition standpoint that are beneficial. So anything you can do proactively, I'm doing. But yeah, that was sad news to hear about Brett. And there's a lot of cutting edge technology coming in. There's some new medical ideas and concepts that are out there.
Jim McMahon had some stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that we can do differently that we couldn't do 10, 15 years ago. And I would tell everybody, be open to that, because there's some really great stuff, and they're having some really great results. I saw Bernie Kosar out here earlier today, and seeing Bernie today and seeing Bernie 4 years ago, he's a different man. And it's foundational medicine that he's kind of embraced, and it's very different than what we do from a pharmaceutical standpoint here in the United States.
All right, well, I'm being yanked. We got to go. You've got to go. You're a busy man, but thanks for taking some time with us. And again, best of luck to the league. It looks like they're really doing it right this time, and hopefully it'll be a helpful, addition to the NFL. We need football year round. Right?
Well, and we need an opportunity for those guys, to when the NFL window closes and it's early in their career to come back down on us. Let's help you change that narrative and get you back up in the NFL. Make sure you stick around a little bit longer.
All right, thank you, Darryl Johnston.
Thank you, Darryl.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Legendary Cowboy. It's always great to have, and former teammate from my Wounded Warrior football team. So it's great to see him stick with us.
Serendipity Yacht Cruises and Events wants you to come party with us. We're bringing the fun to the Houston Bay Area. Stay tuned for all of our incredible events throughout the year, featuring amazing food and drinks, live entertainment, special guests, and so much more. Fun, new, different. Serendipity Yacht Cruises and Events is where you want to be. So come party with us. It's more than a yacht. It's serendipity.
Introducing the world's first temporary airbrush tattoo kiosk, iTattoo, bringing wearable, shareable temporary body art to live events. iTattoo stands for Interactive Temporary Airbrush Tattoo Unit. The team is raising additional capital for this incredible iTattoo concept, putting ink on skin at scale. I'll say it again, folks, ink on skin at scale. This will be the coolest addition to any event, and imagine the reactions when you add body art to the mix. Cool kiosks for a large venue or event. And it's super sponsorable. If you or anyone is interested in talking about the cap raise or the unit itself, please reach out to Nathan or Chris at itattoo.life.
Hi, my name is Shaquille Duggar, and I'm the CEO and founder of Pi. My passion is and always has been helping people. That's why I created Pi. I wanted to devise solutions that would make it easier for businesses to become more efficient and effective to drive profitability, while at the same time helping the customers they serve. Our newest self-service solution is a perfect example of that collaboration. Business leaders told us they wanted a smaller alternative to the larger freestanding kiosks they already love, and we delivered with our newest product. A countertop device we call Eclair introduces space-saving, compactness, versatility, and convenience. When it comes to our self-service solutions industry specifically, we put considerable stock in the quote from Alan Key. People who are really serious about software should make their own hardware. That's Pi in a nutshell. To ensure we produce the best self-service options, we do it all, designing and developing our own hardware and software. The bulk of our business involves the food industry, catering to an evolving industry with technology that is ever evolving itself. Our customers aren't necessarily in traditional restaurant locations. They're in malls, food trucks, and pop-up stands. Additionally, we perform considerable research of consumer trends and behaviors, trying to forecast what they will want and need as it relates to self-service in the short and long term. It's challenging, but exciting and satisfying work. Visiting the restaurant of one of our partners and seeing customers effortlessly order and pay for food through a Pi kiosk puts a huge smile on my face. And it fuels to do more to further enhance their experience. Our latest kiosk designs are reflective of what we've learned, observed, and anticipated. We are designing attractive enclosures that make our kiosks hard to pass by. We're developing and installing intuitive software that's easy to use, and we're incorporating curved high-definition touchscreen that enhance visual quality. At Pi, our ultimate objective is to bring a personal approach to self-service solutions that also display our creativity and ability to devise great products. I introduce to you Pi's newest product, Eclair. Welcome to Pi.
This our Cincinnati Bengals offensive lineman Tate Harris and Alex Kaplan. Thanks for joining us, guys.
Thank you guys. Make sure the mics are up. Are they up? Yeah.
Are they on? Okay. Just kind of talk about what you're doing, Bounty, and before we'll talk some football.
We're here as wingmen. We're slinging towels, representing Bounty, because you can't have football without wings. You can't have wings without Bounty. So keeping people clean.
I got these fresh jackets walking around. It's gonna be my spring wear right here.
Now, I know you guys would much rather wear a Super Bowl jacket this week. I mean, how was that season? I mean, you guys really, if you had one more week in the season, I think you guys could potentially have been here.
Yeah, but you can't be the what-if kings, you know, and that's what happened. It's a frustrating year, and we'll be ready to come back.
We got 2025 coming. Not inheriting anything. We're just ready to roll, make it come up all Bengals.
What is it like to play with that quarterback?
Yeah, it's unbelievable. You see the way he prepares, and then you see the way sometimes he's out there making plays. He does it as good as anybody, and it's a great time.
Fun to be a part of.
It kind of reminds me of almost a throwback with that attitude of a Jim McMahon. You know, he's a funny guy, but he's got that chip on his shoulder. He's all business, and then when he's on the field, he's just as good as Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, I don't think you can really, put anyone above 9. Obviously, Pat's got all the wins and going for his, another Super Bowl. But, our organization runs through number 9, so we need to do whatever we can to help him.
I got to put this up here so we can
represent
see.
Bounty. Represent Bounty.
We're representing Bounty, even though it's backwards. Somehow it's backwards on my camera.
Oh, they know it when they see it.
Did you taste the wings over there?
Oh, they're fantastic.
Have you had them? They're really, I mean, all these poor beat riders and schleps that love free food, the lines have been ridiculous over there, but it's really been great to have you guys here. And Bounty is such a great, I mean, I'm so old, I remember that Bounty used to be the quicker picker-upper, but now it's nice to have a much more, flamboyant type catchphrase for you guys. So what is this offseason going to be like for you?
Well, I'll just be hanging with my wife and daughter, training. Very grateful going into year 10 in my career. So I just train at home, built out a gym at home. Don't go to any of the fancy facilities. And, I really enjoy just hanging out with my daughter, hanging out at home and getting ready to go.
Good family time. It's the most important, because sometimes you don't get as much as you want during the season. So, you're training and then you're spending time with your family. That's what it's all about.
And before you know the draft's your OTA, so it's great to do that. I just want to ask you both, being offensive linemen, you guys don't get a lot of attention, so I'm glad you guys are here doing all the dirty work. But what is your favorite, for somebody that's inspired you, helped you get here today?
That's a great question. For me, I was coming from a Division II school at Humboldt State, so we had a guy named Taylor Boggs who was in the NFL, had a good career, and he was the only guy in recent history from Humboldt State to play in the NFL. And he was an O-lineman, kind of took me under his wing and made me kind of see that it was a real opportunity coming from a small school that I could really do it.
I would say, maybe less inspiration, but just coaching and mentor-wise would be Dante Scarnecchia. I don't think I would be going into my 10th year as a veteran in the NFL without being under his tutelage and him training me to how to be successful as an offensive lineman. So I give a lot of my career success attributed to Dante.
And how about the ticky-tack calls they seem to call on you guys all the time, which shouldn't be holding because you're just doing your job? I mean, do you think the referees are too old to keep up with the speed of the game, or do we need to get some of these younger guys in there and check out what's going on? Because
You tell me what
the
you
defensive
think.
guys are just as dirty, so...
It is what it is. You're going to get calls against you that you don't like. You hope you get some calls with you that you do like. It's just part of the game.
It's been an element of football since the beginning. I'd love to see more full-time reps, though. Full-time position.
Okay, you got a prediction? I mean, do you want your own conference to win, or do you have a care, or does it we'll worry about next year?
I've been saying it all day. This is Bounty Kelly Green. Go Birds.
All right. You got.
When we're not in it, it doesn't matter to me. If it's not us, it don't matter.
Have you guys been to a Super Bowl before like this?
Yes.
What are your thoughts as far as how New Orleans is doing?
I think this has been great. Radio Row is always such a fun experience.
Fanboy at all when you see some of the legends that are around here that laid the groundwork for you?
Yeah, it's great when you see legends.
I flew in with the bus, so I didn't say what's up with him, but I just thought that was cool. It's Jerome Bettis, man.
That's definitely,
yeah.
There's only certain guys you're like, that's a cool guy to see. That would be one of them for sure.
I thought that's why they called him the bus. He was afraid to fly.
And I think it's great you're here because all we see are the Kelsey brothers in every commercial. So it's nice that you guys get to be here representing Bounty.
Absolutely, keeping us clean. It's good to get some alignment out there.
It is.
And
Very
if you live on
Bounty.
chicken wings all your life, you're going to be a lot bigger for next season.
Hope so. Keep your weight up. Keep my weight up.
All right, thanks guys for joining us. Really appreciate taking some time.
Yeah, thanks for stopping by,
Thank
and we
you
wish
guys.
you luck. I mean, like not having legs, I love underdogs, and it's like you guys shouldn't be underdogs, but they call you underdogs. Next year, if you just start out quicker, let's see you guys out there in San Francisco next time this year.
I appreciate you having us
Thank
on.
you guys.
All right, guys.
Thank you,
Thanks a
guys.
lot.
Thanks,
And don't forget, go to the store, get your bounties. You got a big Sunday game coming up. You got chicken wings, you got brats, all that kind of stuff. You are going to need these guys. The taglines, one more time, guys.
You can't have football without wings, and you can't
Can't
have wings.
without Bounty.
All right. That's it. You heard it here first. Thank you guys so much. Enjoy that. We could use some of those bounties all over Bourbon Street. I saw a lot of crazy stuff on the ground last night. But you never know who's going to stop by. It's great to have the current players. We've had a
How special was the Kansas City and the state, with the draft players up there?
Very special. The fact that I didn't go over 2 hours away for obviously college and I'm staying here, it's very special. I'm blessed every day that I'm part of this organization.
Getting back here again and trying to make history, not only for the Chiefs, but in NFL history, to be down to one of the best teams ever.
Yeah, it's huge. It's a blessing to even be a part of blessed to be part of this, how we can make history and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm very excited for the opportunity.
Xavier Worthy, your rookie season, first year in the NFL, you get to the Super Bowl. Talk about the year it's been for you and how exciting this week has been here at the Super Bowl. And talk to me a little bit about Patrick Mahomes, what it's like to play with a unicorn quarterback, a quarterback that is a future Hall of Famer.
Basically, it's weird. Like the rookie season is the longest season, so we come basically playing football for 2 years straight. So just having that, it's a lot on your plate. So a lot on the playbook. This week really been like a big highlight. Probably back to college, like the ball game season. So having that is a cool thing. And then Patrick, man, he's just like you said, he's a unicorn, man. It's not too many guys like him. We go out there, play through injury, good teammate, good guy off the field, man. It's not too many like him.
Thank you, Xavier. Hey, Brian, what's different about this year's defense? Your defense has played a lot different this year. I look at the defense and you guys are making plays at a higher level and making things happen defensively. And a lot of times this year, your defense kept you guys in football games. Talk a little bit about what's the difference and what have you guys done that's different from last year?
I think just involvement, learning. A lot of guys are still here from our rookie year. And we just had them on pieces to the puzzle. And I think for them coming in and the culture and being involved in the brotherhood, it's to make things like that to happen. You know what I'm saying? But chemistry is a great source for any great team. I think that ultimately determines what your team wins to. How well the team play together, play as one. And love, man, we all have love with each other, you know what I'm saying? We need to play together this time. We just, at the end of the day, we all want to win. So I think that knows the quality of anything else that we ought to care about.
Thank you. So can you talk to me a little bit about Coach Sprags and the defense and how he put you guys in such good positions to make plays and everything?
Sprags had a lot of success and a lot of experience. So he's a great teacher. And that's kind of where it all starts. Teacher and people who play some love. We all have a lot of respect for him. And because he's had all that success,
similar types as Carly's hands. He's been able to be very creative with it, go off our strengths and our personalities. He's a great coach and great teacher. All right. On Sunday, you guys face a challenge going against Saquon Barkley. How do you slow down a guy like that? It's like with any kind of run game. You're trying to be disciplined in your responsibility. Detailed and trying to be physical. Within any run game, so you're just definitely picking up a level of trying to do yourself. Okay, thank you. What is it like to be on a team that has a chance to win 3 in a row? That's never been done before. Take me through that. How does it feel? It's a lot of fun, man. I really like to work the game this week, and I'll play it again.
A lot of great quarterbacks over the years. You've been in this game a lot. Are there any particular legendary quarterbacks that Patrick Mahomes reminds you of? This guy is the most poised quarterback under pressure, and we know that his next stop after Kansas City is going to be Canton, Ohio. But I know that there has to be a few guys that come to mind that Patrick probably reminds you of.
Yeah, I've tried not to compare him.
And a lot of times it happens, you know what I'm saying? But chemistry is a great source for any great team. I think that ultimately determines one where your team wins to how well your team play together, play as one. And love, man, we all have love with each other, you know what I'm saying? I don't feel we need to play together this time because at the day, we all want to win. So I think that knows the quality to make anything else that we have to care about. Thank you. So can you talk to me a little bit about Coach Sprague's and the defense and how he put you guys in such good positions to make plays and everything? Sprague's had a lot of success, a lot of experience. So he's a great teacher. And that's kind of where all two are. It's a teacher and a teacher who plays from love. We all have a lot of respect for him. And because he's had all that success, it's had similar types as Carly's hands. He's been able to be very creative with it, go off our strengths and our personalities. He's a great coach and great teacher. All right. On Sunday, you guys face a challenge going against Saquon Barkley. How do you slow down a guy like that? It's like with any kind of run game. You're trying to be disciplined in your responsibility. Detailed and trying to be physical. Within any run game, so you're just definitely picking up a level of trying to do yourself. Okay, thank you. What is it like to be on a team that has a chance to win 3 in a row? That's never been done before. Take me through that. How does it feel? It's a lot of fun, man. I really like to work the game this week, and I'll play it again.
A lot of great quarterbacks over the years. You've been in this game a lot. Are there any particular legendary quarterbacks that Patrick Mahomes reminds you of? This guy is the most poised quarterback under pressure, and we know that his next stop after Kansas City is going to be Canton, Ohio. But I know that there has to be a few guys that come to mind that Patrick probably reminds you of.
Yeah, I've tried not to compare him. I've been blessed to been around some great ones. And listen, you can take a little piece out of every guy. Right. Say he's kind of like this guy, he's kind of like that guy, but he's really rewriting it for himself. And that's what I noticed about being around the Red Stars and the Dominant Man and all these guys, Michael Vick, and all these guys, Alex. The thing goes on, Jeff Garcia. I've been blessed to be around just a ton of them. And they all kind of put their mark on it, their own mark. And then somebody will ask that question down the road about some other quarterback, and of course, the same thing. Coach will probably say the same thing I'm saying. They kind of draw. You can draw a little bit from each guy, but it's really what makes him unique. He does so many things so well, and a tough sport. There's a mental part of it, and there's a physical part of it too. You're back there, and you got 300-pound men bearing down on you. You got to make a decision in a split second. Sometimes those 300-pound men land on you. Get a few of those hit you. That's they'll get back up and stand in the pocket again. And some mental toughness that takes place.
To everyone, what is Davis Texas tied towards you?
It's tradition. I think that's the biggest thing is When you're on that football field, you get the tortillas thrown out the kickoffs or kind of throughout the football game or after big plays. It kind of just shows that the fans are into it. It shows the love that the Red Raiders have for their teams. And so tortilla, it's obviously funny and something that people think is cool to see, but I think more than anything, it just shows the love